Some interesting legislation that's come out of this case, and I feel like it's important for you to know about it. Because here's the bottom line. In all of our states, personnel that work at school have really enjoyed what's called sovereign immunity. Our youngest is an attorney. Let me quote Jill for you. Dad, suing the school is like suing the government. You're never going to win. And please know that I believe in almost every case, school personnel did the responsible thing and safeguarded students and worked to notify parents. But at least in a few situations that I'm aware of, and I've been involved in about a dozen legal cases in my career. I've been on the side of schools. A few times I've been on the side against schools. So sad, so overwhelmed with grief that eating a bullet or sticking your head in a noose seems welcoming. There's some sad reality about, and by the way, it was a small high school, a little more than 300 students. 39 knew something. 5 students communicated daily about his planned violence at the school. And I don't know if you ever watched the film Elephant. I didn't like it. It graphically depicts a school shooting. And his friends said, Jeffrey loved the part at the end, the Columbine part. He would rewind and watch that over and over and over. And you have to be wondering, why don't kids tell us if somebody is talking about and talked out of it? Every example was being trapped and the worst imaginable was shared. All right, so what does every letter stand for? I like 80% of their program. A stands for everybody being alert, very important. L stands for good practice lockdown procedures, absolutely. The I stands for good information. You saw something, see something, say something, be very specific about what you saw and why you were concerned, what were they wearing, what direction were they going, where were they. The E stands for good evacuation procedures. I like all 4 of those things, but I skipped the C. Charge or counter attack. Let me quote him for you. 4 4th graders can take down anybody. The ALICE program is actually recommended, but we're just frankly not good enough to absolutely say somebody is safe. I was on the side of the school district. In fact, I'll be honest, I think the lawsuit against the hospital was, and the psychiatrist, much more appropriate than the lawsuit against the school. Now you must be wondering, what was the outcome of this particular case? And what was the plaintiff's attorney arguing? Here were his main points. She should have never been allowed to return to that school. Well, there is something called a free and appropriate public education. She should have been placed in the alternative school. That was discussed with M and her mom, but it was an optional program.